It's today very important game this evening in the Carabao Cup games, of course, or English Premier League game. Obviously, games that Chelsea knew that they had to win because now, there were games that starting in even other games and it was very important that Chelsea had to go in and get the results against Wolverhampton Wanderers. The situation behind the game, the fact that Wolverhampton Wanderers were in a very difficult and dire place. I mentioned the last time, say, what was the forum? The pressure that is on our coach, your friend Jose Pereira, was something that was high, and also on the team themselves, they needed to come in and start winning games for themselves. It was very important and put them in a very precarious place. I mean, there are a lot of other games also that went on. Hi, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Say, one subscriber to the channel, and subscribe to the channel and turn on notification in notification 10. Michelle, you choose all. Just so anytime there's content here, you are first to have it on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I say we give you the best in terms of football, tactical analysis, pre-match analysis, post-match analysis. We delve into it. We make it very exciting. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I say, of course, Michelle, I'm coming. Let's make something very exciting. I say now, very interesting game. Immediately when Chelsea started playing the game, even before that, there were some games and I call Koso. In the Italian Serie A, Juventus had played and they had won. Roma had played and they had won, and there was a big shocker in that game, of course. Team your friend Paris Saint-Germain playing away from home. We expected it in all of your bet codes. We took outside game now. Now by the time I Chelsea game the ended, there was one more game, 3 slips in an away to home. Of course, my catchers are here. Open the best bet codes here that you come here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Go to the description of the video, pick up code now, and give yourself a very big chance of winning. Of course, just make sure we say a big thank you also to the 2 people who have made this show a possibility. First off, Yesu spare parts dealership show Maka. Say Ewo Chroma say in terms of car spare parts by Ewo Chroma say he is the best person. Waka Abusoka post office and they do a very good job. They give you the best form of car spare parts. They give you the cleanest of them. Again, Wabusoka post office friend on 0593138221. 0593138221. Call Yesumo right now and he'll take very good care of you. Of course, on the other side, MOB clothing. I kind of want them several times. In fact, severally. If it's about the quality clothes, then MOB is the man. See, MOB or to do a flower station or to do or one tade or no call UK, US, China, Dubai, wherever to get the best clothes. He outsourced the best ones for you. Now, who here MOB there, I'm sure. Just take the number right now. 0200-668-708. 0200-668-708. MOB clothing will take very good care of you in terms of getting you the best set of clothes. He is the best guy in that regard. Sorts out everything for you. Just before and then the game started, there was the big conversation because Juventus 4 have now announced, not unofficially, but then from Fabrizio Romano, there was a new Juventus manager, which is Abrante friend Luciano Spalletti. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a big fan of Abrante friend Luciano Spalletti and the work that he did at Napoli. Of course, it didn't particularly go well for him with the Italian national team, but then the news is that Abrante friend Luciano Spalletti had gone on to become the new coach for team friend Juventus. And just before that, Juventus for Kobo game with the interim manager, winning by 3-1. I mean, that tells you how big of a new manager bounce and its influence is for team your friend of Juventus for now. They managed to go in and win. And of course, before that also, there was a story of Eden Hazard. Now, in terms of Chelsea history, one of probably the best players that have come to play in there, especially in the modern era for Chelsea. And there was a video where Jose Mourinho sent a message to him, and he did mention, say, thank you for the last Premier League trophy. And you see, Jose Mourinho attributes the last Premier League trophy winning to Abrante friend Eden Hazard, talking about the quality that Eden brings to the team, the importance. I've said this several times in terms of the dribbling ability, directness, chance creation, and all of those things. Eden Hazard is light years ahead of a lot of players who have played in the English Premier League, and he lit it up. I remember somewhere in 2012 or thereabouts or 13 when Eden Hazard was joining Chelsea from Lille, or say, oh, I'm joining the Champions League champion. And at age 34, he has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. That is something that usually players who are 45, 50 thereabouts gets those induction. But Branty friend Eden Hazard has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Charlie, me have said it. If it's about pure football, quality in terms of talent, the things that I saw Eden Hazard do was probably one of the best I've seen in the modern era of the Premier League game. The creativity, whether from central areas, whether playing the 3-4-3 as attacking, player from the right hand side to cut into that favorite left foot now. Eden Hazard, they're brilliant. I think for a lot of us who are Eden Hazard fanboys and I've said that he is quality, one of the things that we've come to understand is that maybe the reason why Eden Hazard has not won the Ballon d'Or, never won the Ballon d'Or, never even probably even went that close is because, like he said in the tweets that he put up after he was nominated and inducted into the Hall of Fame, the fact that he plays just for fun. And that message is a very, very important part. Eden Hazard said he is just a small boy that was from a small city, in Belgium. Now, Ufis are in a small city of Belgium, he plays the football for fun. According to him, say he played the football for fun, and he is very much privileged. Say he has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Say for a small guy, a small Belgian guy from Braine-le-Comté playing for fun, being inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame with these grades to the game at age 34-year-old is crazy. Thank you all. I see you soon, my friends. And I think that is huge. One of the best things from Eden Hazard is that calmness and then humility and the fact that he just goes into the game to do his job. And like everybody who knows Eden Hazard will say, there was never really that sense of seriousness. If you want to Eden Hazard, everybody will tell you. I say the likes of Mikel Obimo come out and say, so many Eden Hazard a trainer. It's as if he's playing, will be serious or Bobona or forces will be making a difference. He has an a diagram. But then when he gets onto the field of play, he gets the job done. That is exactly what Abrante's friend Eden Hazard was able to do for his days on our Chelsea Football Club. Today, he has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Something that is very, very huge. That is very, very good for Abrante's friend Eden Hazard and for the good that he has been able to do. Of course, we are all want to see Eden Hazard at the very, very top. We all want to see Eden Hazard in terms of the things that he is able to do, how he understands the game, how he reads the game. Like I said, the Carabao Cup essentially offers Chelsea one of the biggest opportunities to go on and win something this season, and especially in a competition that has a lot of surprises. Just before the Chelsea game started, the Arsenal game started too. I think around the time that Chelsea were leading by 3-1. Now Arsenal game is 0-0. Now Liverpool game, they were down by 2-0. And I've said it several times. When you are a team like Chelsea and you are building something, the small trophies, you don't have to let them go. Do you know why? They essentially build the momentum and then the confidence of your players now. So your players begin to feel like they are quality, they're invincibles, and they begin to play above themselves every time. Now, but if you are building a team and even the small trophies you're unable to win, it takes longer to get to the finish line, which is essentially winning the English Premier League or winning the Champions League takes longer time. But if you're able to win smaller trophies, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Conference Leagues, it builds confidence, bonds the team together, and push them to deliver at the very, very top. And that is why it is very, very important for Chelsea to win. Because like I said, Arsenal for the time were drawing that game 0-0. Whilst team and your friend with Liverpool were being beaten at that time by 2-0 from 2 goals from a your friend Ismail Sarr, where a lot of Liverpool fans were beginning to ask questions because Arne Slot, ran a lot of changes in that Sarr team. That's probably not good enough to play against Oliver Glasner, Crystal Palace team. So Chelsea needed to win. Now, like I said, it was a huge game because when you look at Wolverhampton Wanderers, where they are in the English Premier League, they have not won a single game or Premier League game. And they are struggling. Really, really, really struggling. Struggling in the sense that they are not getting points. Struggling in the sense that they are not getting results. They are not able to play games and then win them. It's seriously affecting what Wolverhampton Wanderers are doing. And so they came into this game. Now, I think that Enzo Maresca surprised coach, your friend Joseph Pereira. Now, why? Because in a new pre-match press conference, Enzo Maresca can't say me. I think it got all of us worried and asked questions. Say, now Maresca crap, idea, Ukra just a plan A coach, you need plan B. People began to ask questions about that because Rebecca Maresca said in that pre-match press conference, say, if it is about teams, so more Baba Bomb 4-3-3, down they train on it 4 or 5 times in a week. I don't know, a solid, more game plan. But the team be banner Baba Kajum, no be 5 back constricted, no parking fee if you want to. And they have a lot of issues to play against that team. That is where a lot of people began to say, hey, Maresca. What are you saying? Are you saying that you don't have an idea or you don't have a plan B? In the context of what Maresca said, he didn't essentially say that he doesn't have a plan B. What essentially Maresca said was that it is easier to play against a team where it is open. So, be before to style of play. But to be better in the first 10-15 minutes or surprise, it's different. You now have to go through a process of adaptation. And that is where probably the difficulties and he's working with on the players now or something that's very few. I think that thing that Enzo Maresca said in a pre-match press conference seemed to have influenced the starting lineup of team your friend Wolverhampton Wanderers and the coach your friend Jose Pereira. That's a very honest issue. When you look at that starting lineup that was sent by team your friend Wolverhampton Wanderers and of course Jose Pereira as the coach, it was very, very interesting. Why? Because he went into a back five. It looks as if he had picked the cues. Okay, Maresca can record one on a pre-match press conference. Say a ban of mid-block and compact blocks now. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to stock the middle. I'm going to block the middle to prevent central progression and stuff like that. So I'll be able to stop Enzo Maresca from playing in games and then getting the results as he has to. That is exactly how Maresca went into the game. That's exactly how Jose Pereira went into the game. But Maresca was smart. Also, it looked as if he had worked it with his players on the touchline, on the dressing. On the training ground, and he had prepared largely for it. He went into this starting lineup with a 4-3-3. That is probably one of the best 4-2-3 ones that I've seen. Now, if you watch, it was Joshua Champon, Tosin Andrey Abiayo as the 2 center backs in there. Played with João Hato and your friend Malo Gusto as the fullbacks. Then in the middle of the park, Romeo Lavia got a start. Very, very good because, like we said, Enzo Maresca is trying to manage the minutes of our friend Romeo Lavia. He did so nicely well by keeping a branch friend Romeo Lavia starting for just a few more minutes. On to starting Romeo Lavia and Andrey Santos next to him. It was a very good one. I think Andrey Santos's press is very much underrated. He was the workaholic in the middle. He was the one constantly pressing and counter pressing. He was the one pushing and forcing the issue. He was the one making things stick for team friend Chelsea. Entire middle on him next to a branch friend Romeo Lavia. But see, the best thing about Romeo Lavia, like I've always said consistently, is the ability of that player to receive the ball under pressure, to be calm under pressure, to play under pressure, and to make sure, say, at the end of the day, everything is cool, calm, collected when it's about a branch friend Romeo Lavia. That is exactly what he embodied throughout the game. Say, Yenjibon under pressure, let's play forward under pressure, let's open up the ball under pressure. He was always open to receive the ball, no matter how hard it is for him to turn out of pressure. That is exactly what Romeo Lavia. That's why I've said several times that if I get a midfield, if I get a team where Chelsea are able to have Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo in the middle of the park, it's the perfect archetype of the midfield to dominate almost any team in the world. It's essentially a deep line playmaker, the best at it in Romeo Lavia, a box-to-box 8 in Moises Caicedo, who is essentially one of the best in that regard, and also a connector that can also become a half space occupier in a branch friend Enzo Fernandez. And you can have your wingers, can have your proper number 10, and also your center forward that gets to do the difference. So for me, that is super, super, super important. And you see, the press of Abrantia, your friend, Enzo Fernandez, what's the Andrey Santos, was very, very clear. It was very, very clear in the lead up to when Chelsea started playing the game. In the lead up to, especially in the first half, when Andrey Santos got his goal. So later on in the second half, the game became 3-2. Imagine if Andrey Santos go number. Imagine if Estavao go number. Imagine if Amanda friend Terry George go number. It would have been disastrous. It would have been very, very much disastrous again. And Saul's goal again came from another long throw in. Another time where Chelsea had considered from a long throw-in, something that they have been suffering from for a very, very long time. Long throw-in being a good toe ball from the wide area, and Wolverhampton Wanderers made it take. They made it count in that regard. But like I said, see, in the first half, was that very, very good goal by my friend Andrey Santos, scoring his first goal. I like the calmness and composure when Andrey got onto the ball. I like the patience with it. Andrey was playing this football, and then the counter press. He won the ball from deep, carried it forward, and then slotted it in the back of goal. It looked easy, but then for me, it was more about the technique of our bench friend Andrey Santos and the job that Andrey Santos was able to do in that area. Now, once the game opened up, you could tell Senna Wolves want to have let almost 5 mid-block shape, to come out of their shape, to come and see they can get something out of the game. And that's why Tyree George was being set up. South first half, was really a half where Abranti Efreno, Jimmy Bino Gittens showed everybody what it's made of. I mean, if anybody wanted to show that Jimmy Bino Gittens is a quality player in terms of what he can do on the ball, what he can do off the ball, I mean, the defending, the creative ability, the directness, and the dribbling ability. Because Mobekaya, when Chelsea were beginning to talk about Jimmy Bino Gittens and getting him at Chelsea Football Club, one of the things that I saw when I did the scout report is the fact that he was seen as one of Europe's most elite attackers. Oh, yes, in terms of Ojibona, it is a quick papa, then he's gone. Papa, then he's gone. He takes 1-2 dribble and he's gone. It's something that he has struggled to do in the English Premier League. Maybe for a lot of people, they think that the theory is that he has had a lot of people closing him down, and the numerical superiority, and he hasn't had it, and that is something that has affected him, which is fine, which can be the case. But to be very, very honest with you, I think it's an issue of our bench friend Jimmy Bino Gittens struggling to play in areas where he has to play because he has not had the time and space to deliver. And in that first half, we saw the quality of our bench friend Jimmy Bino Gittens, the quality of he being able to play, the directness of the ball that he brought in, the understanding of the game, everything was brilliant by our bench friend Jimmy Bino Gittens. And I think that's exactly what Enzo Maresca wanted to see from him. He did set up that goal from our bench friend Tyree George, but that also came from a very good Romeo Lavia ability to play. I mean, opening up the ball to receiving that area. Of course, good build-up play for Mono and our bench friend Tosin Adrabiayo, and of course, a good final ball from our bench friend Facundo Buonanotte. For me, it made a lot of difference. It made a whole lot of difference over there for Enzo Maresca and any team, in terms of when they went into the game, what they had to do in the game, how they had to create chances and made the game very, very good for themselves. It was a very good one for them. But see, that didn't end there. Estavao was in the game, and you could tell immediately when Gittens was beginning to get plaudits, people were commending plaudits, and of course he saw that Gittens was getting a lot of attention. Estavao knew that he needed to change something. He needed to be one of those guys that come into the game to come and play the football. So he began to do things. One ball into the part of Wolverhampton Wanderers player, pressed by Abranti friend Andrey Santos. The ball fell to Abranti friend Estavao, and boy, what a ball! What a ball from to Abranti friend Estavao, who dinked the goalkeeper Jose. And see, the quality of Estavao is there. Everybody knows this, but I've said it several times. In the few openings in our first half, Okodi yellow card. It's just some of those things, that little nitty-gritty things that he has to be able to sort out. If he's able to sort out stuff like that, then Gittens essentially is a world beater in that regard. He will be one of the best in terms of, that right-hand side, chance creation, ball control, all of it. He definitely becomes one of those players in that regard. It's very important that Abranti friend Jimmy Gittens is able to get to that level. It's very, very important that Abranti friend Jimmy Gittens is able to get to such levels in terms of play. It's going to give him a lot of advantage in that regard, a lot of advantage in terms of what Estavao can give to you. It's important. It's very, very important. Of course, in the second half, Chelsea did not start well, and I think these are some of the things that Enzo Maresca has been talking about. The lack of concentration, and then of course also their inability to manage and finish off games, because you can't lead by 3 goals to 0 and allow an opponent like Wolverhampton Wanderers to come and score 2 quick fire goals. what that means is that a lot of teams that are going to play with you, that is in this case, Tottenham Hotspur, they are going to believe that there is something in there to take against Chelsea. I mean, if Thomas Frank is watching this game, Thomas Frank is believing that, okay, I mean, if I'm able to press Chelsea, if I'm able to be more physical, I'm going to use the set pieces to even hurt them. So let's see what we can do. Because our second goal for Wolverhampton Wanderers was from a set play. That was purely from a set play. If you look at it, it was a pure set play for Andrey Wolverhampton Wanderers for a long throw in into the box. And once that long throw in came, they were able to force the issue and get that second goal over there. From then, the game became difficult. That is exactly where the game turned. And you see, Wolves, for like almost every other team, are being very aggressive when they play against Chelsea. And so I know you begin to slow down. That is exactly what stretched the game. You begin to slow down our but gentle football as a one be being shed and found home when it's not particularly a game that you stress about or home there, then you are going to be in trouble. You are really, really going to be in trouble if you don't sort out things like that when it comes to the games that you are going to play. Obebre, that is exactly how Chelsea, felt when the game was 3-2, and then they had to make sure say they go in and go and get the results. When it was 3-2, now it was for an air to take out. It was very, very difficult over there for Team Friend Chelsea, and it was good that Enzo Maresca rang the changes, bringing on Pedro Neto, bringing on Enzo Fernandez, bringing on Marco Correa, who are very much experienced in the game. To have a game plan in terms of managing the game was good. When you look at the likes of Andrey Santos, they were putting their bodies on the line. Wolves were trying almost everything from set plays to corner kicks to what have you. They felt that there was something in the game for them. They felt that they could do something. Big, bulky centre backs of Wolverhampton Wanderers trying to make something happen for themselves, trying to make sure they force the issue and then get the results that they are looking for. It was just a very good game management in terms of what the likes of Liam Delap were able to do in terms of the hold-up play and all of those things, and what Chelsea could do. But then again, it was a game that was very, very much open for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was a game where Wolverhampton Wanderers felt like they could do something, and they constantly kept on making changes. And you see, when Wolves got the 2 goals, it coincided with 2 things that happened in the game. The absence of Abrante Feno, Romeo Lavia. When Romeo Lavia was in the first half, it was just cool, calm, collected, patience, tempo controlling. But the thing is that, however you look at it, Enzo Fernandez is not a tempo controller. He is a connecting midfielder. He's more like the number 8 that can play as a number 10. And you see, when it happened like that, you could tell, okay, now there were a lot of fouls against Chelsea, whose phone were winning the second ball because there isn't somebody that's able to tell the whole team, Masa, relax and let's play the ball. There is no stress here. Calm down. We are the one who are leading. We don't need to stress ourselves, on the ball at all. Let's calm down and play the football. That is where things began to go a little bit, wild for Chelsea. But all in all, it was a very, very important result. It was results that Chelsea needed to get. It was results that was obviously going to do a lot of good to confidence and morale in camp leading up to that Tottenham Hotspur game, because that Tottenham Hotspur game is not going to be easy, to be very honest. It is not going to be easy. It's going to be a really, really tough game, for Chelsea. They know that they need to make sure, say, at the end of the day, they've gone into that game and gotten results inside that game, because you drop points against Liverpool, not against Liverpool, you drop points. Just before this game, there was data that came out, say Chelsea have managed to drop, almost 8 points from winning position. 6 has come in the English Premier League, and it was very, very similar to what was going on. Chelsea essentially winning, then red card at some point in time tilts the game on its head. Chelsea in total control of the game, and then 2 goals comes and then turn the game on its head. That's exactly what's happening. I was arguing at Chelsea Kokobo or Molly, where they knew that they were in some trouble and they needed to sort things out. And it wasn't working for them. But of course, finally, Enzo Maresca was able to bring in our players now. Going forward, Chelsea would have to manage games better. In the game against, Tottenham Hotspur, it has to be managed better. If you don't manage those games better, you're going to be in trouble. Guys, thank you very much for choosing us. Our Fiifi-Manfred issue. We'll see you with more in-depth analysis. Until then, bye-bye.